Cheer, I have my 10-4.
Also, don't
For tonight's
forget
episode,
about
I will be
don't forget
censored.
about gamer tags on the screen.
I did get that actually. I did. turn it
Wow,
off.
wow. Then you didn't even
Wow.
need us. Wow, skill. All
Yeah,
of our hard work just down the
I
fucking
know.
drain.
He always doubts himself, but I know that I taught him better than that.
Deep down inside, we know that you know that I know.
Deep down in
What
the nut.
All right. So, as tradition here in the ABUS Steel Talk podcast, we start out by introducing ourselves. Before I get too ahead of myself, Snarker, we all sounded good over the relay. I heard you listening to it.
Yep, I can hear everyone.
Awesome.
Sounds
All
good
right.
for a sonograph.
Starting from the left over to the right, I'll go over who we are. We have Elder Skill, as always. We have Elder Snarky, to my
Hey, everyone.
left. Myself, Elder Vault. And a very special guest from the Bloody Eighth, Elder Grieve.
Hello, hello.
All right. So glad to be here tonight. It was really good to get us all together on this fine Sunday. Sorry about not having an episode out for a while there. Life gets in the way. We've all been busy. Mainly me. You can blame me on that.
Too busy grinding
Before
the
we go,
scoreboard.
before we go too much further, I would just like to point out that Elder Vault's hat is ruining my immersion. It is
Hey.
just ruining it.
It's a nice hat. Look at the stitching.
Hey.
It's nice.
It does not fit the aesthetic.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Aesthetic. Neither does a cowboy hat, but you don't see me over
Well,
here.
no, well, see, that's because I'm a cowboy. Randy. See how
All
it
right,
is.
another tradition of ours now. We always like to start out with what we're drinking with, too. Obviously, I can't drink. But if I were to be drinking a beverage, I would be drinking Sun King Brewery's Mexican-style lager. But I'm actually drinking a Coca-Cola. You can hear that. That was Coca-Cola.
That's also good.
What do you guys drink?
I'm also drinking Coca-Cola, but with some Kraken rum in it.
Did you just say crack? Is that what I just heard?
It's
Yep.
like a Crack and Jack Witch weekend.
No, like the Kraken. You know, like release the Kraken, but you know it's rum.
I'm pretty sure he said crack.
Nope,
I
it's
think so,
not
too.
crack and rum. Nope.
And
this is
suddenly
just,
I have a lot less questions.
Suddenly, Skill thinks he might need to find a new elder.
Oh, I think he's ready to take over now.
What are you drinking there, Skillio?
I am drinking the Jack Daniel's Master Distiller Series Charcoal Mellowed Tennessee Whiskey.
Fancy.
It number 5, not number 7.
Oh,
It's quite good.
Sounds interesting. I'd definitely try it if I don't know. Not much.
I don't know. I don't
know
even
if
know
that fit
where
my
to-
taste though.
My wife just comes up with these, so they just
Oh.
appear in my pantry.
Skill, you're making me want to get my whiskey out.
Oh, dude, there's nothing better to be drinking. The only other thing I drink is Spotted Cow. Spotted Cow.
What are you drinking, Grieve?
Well, just finished off the first. Mike's about to crack the second. Might go get the whiskey though.
Ooh.
I vote whiskey. That's
I
because
knew
I care
you'd vote
about you.
whiskey. You fucking because you care about me.
I just want
I'm
you
here
to
for
be
your
happy.
well-being of your liver.
I'm here
I
for
just
your
want you to be
well-being.
happy.
Drink the hard shit.
Fuck yeah, bruh.
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 All right. So, the first thing we have slated for this fine evening, so Grieve, so how we typically do it is I just kind of go down from point to point. I might skip over one, I might not. It just kind of depends. If there's something that I skip over that you want to talk about, let me know. But the first question I have here for you is, what is your experience been like in the Bloody Eighth?
Interesting to say the least. just like I discussed with Snark here a little bit earlier, I originally came in as a trader selling T60 power armor, and then I woke up one day, got a message saying I am now the proctor of the Bloody Eighth, and I'm like, oh, okay. Within the first probably 3 to 6 months, we had to court-martial our original elder, or no, sorry, he was our second elder, court-martial him, ended up fighting him, and then after that it's not really been smooth sailing, but smoother than it was originally.
That's about as much as we can all hope for. Is just smooth enough sailing. Well, that's always
you're
a tough
getting
game to
that
work with.
Now, if you don't mind me asking, which elder was it that decided to make you a proctor? Was that Static?
That would have been Elder Bloodied at the time.
Elder Bloodied. Okay.
So there has been 4 elders in the entirety of the tenure of the Bloody Eighth. The first being Elder Cartwright, which I'm sure some of you might know that name. The second would have been Elder Bloodied Assassin, which he ended up paying he ended up receiving caps from raiders in order for them to come and attack his men, which is what he was court-martialed over. The third was Static, which he's obviously currently on deployment. It's the only reason his elder tenure ended, and then now me.
Well,
Pretty
make
nice
sure to thank you
lineage
for
there.
service for me.
Absolutely, yeah. Same. It's cool that we can get such rich histories out of our groups.
You know, I have a similar experience with the rank, waking up and then just having a new rank entitled to your name. So, you want to tell the story of how I became elder?
You mean when I promoted you? Without a discussion from anyone?
I woke up from head scribe to elder scribe in the span of a 2-hour nap.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
So, head scribe at the time was basically elder without the elder tags. I was doing all the same stuff as elder council. I was in elder council. It was just pretty much a tag and a title switch.
Well, it was
It
it was more than that though too, because if you look at it from if you look at the lower ranks with the higher ranks like that, it's moving you out of the head scribe spot so somebody else could step up and take that spot, which Allie did beautifully and now is an elder himself as well. But and now Ghost is working his way up as well. But at that point, it's just like going from Paladin Commander to Sentinel. Not a lot really changes, but it's moving you down up the progression so that others can move up as well.
Yeah.
That's really all it was about. Because I mean, let's face it here. It was the worst decision I ever made.
I mean, that's what, yeah.
Agreed.
That's it was a desperate move, but it worked out in some ways. It's had its benefits.
I just can't wait till we get that coup against me underway. It's not going to be fun. See the
We're just waiting for
look
you
on
to-
my smug and arrogant face.
We're just waiting for you to pull the trigger on us here, and then we can finally rise you to power and through the coup.
It's all fun and games until I get a message one day saying, "Hey, Grieve, we need help. We're throwing a coup," and I'm gonna be like, "Well, shit."
Well,
Hey
I gotta go
man,
put my elder pants on.
Grieve, let's get something on the table right away, right now.
Yeah, what's that?
I'm a integral part of the coup that we're getting together against me. Like I'm helping. This is a good thing.
So what you're saying is you're a log that's constantly feeding branches into the fire.
Yes.
yeah, that sounds pretty accurate.
Sometimes you just got to stir the pot.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, you got to stir it, otherwise everything starts getting stuck to the bottom. And then you got a bunch of burnt shit on there. It doesn't taste
That's
right.
the worst.
Here's
It
a
is
better
the
question.
worst.
Why you got bird shit in your pot? I think that's a better question here.
Well, it adds flavor. It's like using paprika, but more. It's gluten free.
Are you sure about that?
I mean, I run the numbers. I did the math, and yeah, there's no way it
You
can.
you can do
There's no
math.
way it's. Well, with tape measure.
That's off.
I can do math with the tape measure.
Hey man, some people can't. I mean, there was that one guy.
It's true. Some
You
people
guys
can't.
remember him?
Who's that one guy? Was his name Skill?
Don't worry about that. Let's not worry about. Let's not get caught up in those muddy details.
It's the fine print, after all. Who cares about fine print?
Is that what we're going with?
So, what was your favorite part? Or not was, my bad. That makes it sound awful. What is your favorite part of the Bloody Eighth chapter? If you had to like put a couple things or one thing, what makes it worth it for you?
In all honesty, the family aspect. That's a lot more of what we focus on within the 8th, is more of being a family than being a clan or milsim. And, I mean, all in all, in speaking generally, 90% of our members reach at least a year or more of tenureship. And that is one thing we do like to brag about.
No, that's
Because
good.
there's not very many other groups that can hold on to people for that long.
The groups that hang on to people for long periods of time, those are the groups that they last. And the Bloody Eighth has definitely proven that.
I agree. I've
there's
heard
not
nothing but great things about you guys.
There's not a lot of groups that have been around as long as the Eighth. There are very few.
Very, very few.
And that's something to be
think-
it's something to be respected and repeated.
Honestly, thinking about it, I think the only other group that might have been around as long as this would have to be Steel of Defiance.
How long have you guys been around for?
The 8's been up since day one, if not the beta. I was not a first generation member, is what we call them. Under each elder, there's a generation of people in there.
Yeah.
So, out of everybody that was left in the first generation, we only have one that is still currently helping with the 8th.
Gotcha.
It sucks
Yeah.
to watch the generations of members die off, though.
Oh,
God, does that
absolutely.
suck.
It does.
I've watched, because I was part of the first generation of ABOS, as was Snarky. I think Snarky and I are really the two paradoxes around yet, but Snarky and I are the only two left from the first gen that are still active within leadership or otherwise.
Yeah.
Consistently.
Coming up this year 4, it's going to be really interesting to see who's around for anniversary number 4.
Yeah,
Lightning.
mostly.
Lightning's just gonna be here till the servers shut down.
Yeah.
I mean, hell,
Lightning
I've been in
single-handedly
the
keeps
8th
game alive.
for how long? 2 years and 8 months is how long I've been in. And I know they were
Damn.
existent long before that. God, I've almost been in 3 years.
I love hearing other groups, how long they've been around for, because the 76 community, I feel like, we get a bad rap from all the social media stuff just because of the game, but I don't think people realize how much of the game relies on the community that's been built.
Oh, absolutely.
I think the entirety of the game relies on the community. If it wasn't for the community, this game would have been dropped off a long time ago. Because, let's face it, we all had the Wastelanders' entire add-on done within 3 days.
If even that. I think I got mine done in a day and a half.
I'm being conservative. The average player would have had it done within 3 days. And I know hardcore guys that had it done in a couple hours. Like Lightning, he was one of those guys. And Trip burned through it in no time.
Yeah, weird to think about.
Yeah, I totally just lost my train of thought.
It's that whiskey, man, I'm telling you.
I'm telling, yeah, well, dude, I
That's
was
the thing
just
about
gonna
doing a
say, man,
podcast when you're drinking. Yep.
That's why I plead the number 5, the 5th.
The number 5.
Well, because that's the whiskey I'm drinking. It's Jackie Daniels number 5.
Well, that works with the Fifth Amendment too. So
Yeah, I
I
know
guess
that
you
was
worked out.
that was yeah. I just even Steven.
So I think this, you yourself, Grieve, possibly Snarky, and I definitely know Skill will be able to talk about this. Because I'm just now getting into the world of, I'm going to say this and I'm going to put quotations because it sounds so weird to say, but 76 diplomacy.
Yeah, here we go.
How did ABOS get aligned with the Bloody Eighth?
I believe, Skill, who was it that brought you originally into S.D.A? Which I'll dive into S.D.A a little bit here in a few.
So I could be incorrect on this, but I believe the original way that the 8th and ABOS came in contact with each other was during a recruitment post. I think it was Holy that actually first put me in touch with Static. And we got to talking and stuff and introduced myself and, likewise. And just kind of hit it off. And the more we talked, then we ended up talking about Cartwright. Because Cartwright was a friend of mine that I knew back in the day from another brotherhood that he started, which was BOS Exodus. And
Oh, God, I remember them.
They merged into ABOS. And we took all of their senior leadership and just pretty much every guy that was just of value, and they were all pretty awesome.
Well,
Few of them were
might be.
Huh?
Nothing. Continue. No, never mind.
I think adopted is a better word for it.
Take
You know
sounds a
what I
little
mean.
aggressive. No, sure, I definitely know what you mean.
You know what I mean. I'm not saying it like that. But
We know what you mean.
We definitely know
yeah,
what you mean.
because Cartwright was the original elder of the Bloody Eighth, so we got to talking about that, which turns out his Static's experience with Cartwright was wildly different than the experience I had with Cartwright. But it did help us, get to know each other a little bit. And then when the S.D.A thing got underway, Static messaged me asking me to join up into that. And since I knew a few of the other elders already, BCF Hunter and Static and Hitman, so then that helped us get a little seat at the table and kind of just took off from there.
And then Skill's been a
I
thorn
know.
in my side ever since.
Exactly. I've loved it. Every second of it's been amazing. Torturing
I can't
people
wait
is
till we
like
get to the SDA
what I live for.
of tonight.
What's that?
So I can't wait until we get to the SDA part of tonight. That's gonna be a fun little part.
Oh, the amount of fun depends on if you want to hear the full petty reason behind it or not.
Oh, I'm sure we can get into it.
We'll see how many drinks we are deep in before we get there.
Well, just
Oh,
out of curiosity, and I'm sorry if I'm jumping on Vault here a little bit, but who started out with the S.D.A? Was that the Bloody Eighth, the Khaleesi's group? I forget which. Is that the
Black Wolves.
I got a
Black
couple
Wolves,
more
that's
questions before we get to that. I want to go
All
over
right.
the 8th a little bit more. Because we're going to constantly bring up SDA throughout the podcast just because it's a fun little thing. But I do have a part because I know that Grieve, Khaleesi, and Static, you guys had a big part in due to bringing that about.
Correct.
So I did have a question. I know we talked about your tenure in the Bloody Eighth, but what was the reason, like the core beliefs you're kind of built on, what you guys believe in, and how you were founded?
Like I said, obviously for the first generation, I can't speak much for it. I had a very good portion in helping shape the second generation, which that alone has been a major change in and of itself, and that took period over probably a year. In fact, at that time, like take the scribes for instance. The scribes have been my app project. Even scribe, you were to go hide in a bush.
Well,
That was the exact rules of engagement for scribes.
you don't want your scribes to die, that's for sure.
So now, as bad as it may sound or not, my scribe being able to handle themselves as my knights as well as on par with some of the paladins. Now, obviously, do they replace those duties? No. They still know their place, but they're still able to handle themselves.
Well, that's good too, because knights and paladins are split line, but it is good that they're themselves just in case they need to.
Yeah, but that a little bit. I know I got a little off track, but
I feel like that's like kind of adopting like the battleship theory, where everybody on the ship knows how to do every single job on the ship.
exactly. That's kind of actually
That's the best way to do it. Because then
basically
you got to be able to move around with, especially when it comes to group at the drop times. You got to be able to kind of move shit around.
Well, to further iterate into that, also the 8th is one of the very, very few Brotherhood chapters that can even lay claim to this, but about 70, if not even upwards of 80 to 85% of our members are 100% PvP capable and PvP ready, but still have that heavy focus into PvE.
That is probably one of the unique things about the 8th. And yeah, you guys are good at what you do. And you're not assholes. That's my favorite part about that. Like, there's so many PvP groups out there that are just dicks.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name names or anything, but a lot of them are really toxic.
Oh yeah,
It's
for
nice
sure.
to see that there are a few guys that just aren't.
Oh, for sure, but yet again, also, some of those PvP groups, that is their main focus, is just the PvP and the grief. With the 8th, we're more, I guess you could say the Lions Brotherhood, where we were a lot more humanitarian-based than we are technology-based or anything like that. We care more about each other than I'd say most other groups do.
And that's why you guys are still around.
I mean, hell, for instance, say our quill proctor, our former quill proctor, who's now my elder's advisor, Slinky, he lives 8 hours away from me. Static lives 3 hours away from me. Slinky drove up and met me at my place, stayed the night with me, and then we drove the 3 hours to Static's place just so I could go get his car and take care of it while he's on deployment.
Damn.
Damn.
That is like family, like you mentioned right at the beginning.
I mean, that's our thing, is we always try to take care of each other. If there's something we can do it. I mean, same thing with how Slinky's 8 hours away from me. I said, if you ever need anything, let me know. I'll be gone in the drop of a dime. It's 8 hours, but we're all family. That's how we've always tried to establish it since Static's been in office.
No, that's definitely cool. I'm envious of that.
Starkey, you should have came to my wedding.
I mean, yeah, distance is a bitch.
It is a bitch. You're like 24 solid hours of driving away from me.
Yeah.
And that's another thing too, is I don't know specifically who all has, but I know for a fact, at least getting some of our guys kitted and making sure the 8's got plenty of resources and stuff like that. I know I've dropped hundreds of dollars on the 8th, making sure it prospers. I know there's at least 3 or 4 others that have as well, and making sure all of our guys have what they need and what they're comfortable with.
Yeah, that's some dedication.
And put on top of that, I've traded, before I joined the 8th, I had, I don't know, probably like 200 legacies in storage. Since then, between getting people that I trust outfitted along with trading to get them the correct stuff, I'm down to maybe 50, if that.
No, still more than most.
It's a lot
still,
more than most.
yeah. But I mean, the fact of the matter is, everything's gotten to a place where it gets used and it doesn't just sit on a character and sit there.
Yeah,
Like
and that's
us.
good too.
You ever think about how many legacies are sitting on inactive characters that people like have uninstalled 76 and like the
Yeah, just don't play
characters
anymore.
floating through the ether with just thousands of legacies?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, hell, I know my one friend, he just recently made a comeback to 76. He had an original beta character just like my character. My character sitting here at the table was an original. Actually, she is an original second alpha character, the closed alpha. She's been part of the second alpha, the first closed beta, the second closed beta, and beta. Point in case if you go look at my profile, I've never even technically gotten to level 10. But
Oh, through like the achievements and stuff.
yeah, I'm missing like the level 10 along with some of the very early on achievements like First Contact, Final Departure, uh, Buried Treasure. Actually, no, that's the Raider ending, never mind. But yeah, no, those early on achievements, I don't have 5 out of probably 10 or 15 of them.
I know a lot of OGs don't have the leaving the vault one. That's
Yeah.
how like you can tell who was a beta player or not.
But now the only reason I have is because I made mules to help hold stuff, which that's a given whenever you've played the game as long as I have.
Yeah.
Right.
Actually, speak of which, how many hours am I at now?
I like to not think
2,267. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. It's so weird to think that there's not an in-game like system to check which character has what on them. Like,
You mean
Oh,
like how many
separate
hours and
characters.
stuff?
No, like inventory-wise.
Oh,
I wish they would add
dude.
something like. Did you guys play Destiny back in the day?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, did
unfortunately.
you guys ever use the Chrome extension for Destiny inventory?
no.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that extension, what it did is allowed you to see what was on each of your 3 characters along with what was in the vault of each of your 3
And
characters.
and you could transfer them back and forth, correct?
Precisely. You could,
Yeah.
and you could literally be sitting in the middle of a raid and be like, shit, I need this sniper rifle, but it's on this character. All you'd have to do would be fire up your laptop, move it over, and then boom, it was in your inventory.
Yeah, I remember using the mobile one for Destiny 2, but never for the first one.
It's a
They have a
novel
mobile one
concept.
now?
I thought so.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the only way I've used it.
Bro.
I have several of them. I have
Yeah.
3 different ones I use for like different situations. I have the official one. There's another one called Ishtar. And I forget the third one.
God. These
There's a
Destiny
lot
2
of
these
there's a
Destiny
lot
2
of
kids are
things.
so spoiled.
There's a lot of things that Bethesda could implement, and
Oh, yes. Yes, there is.
There
Oh,
are days
it-
I wish I was a community manager just to slap some heads around and get some things set straight.
this is what you're going to do.
Exactly. But yeah, I totally agree with that. A nice inventory management system is definitely needed.
You know
Along
what's
with-
needed even more than that, though?
What's that?
Two-step verification trade.
That's
Yeah,
shit just
yeah.
about what I was about to go into, is a safer trading system.
That's
Yeah.
all they need to do is just a two-step. You put up your offer, they put up their offer, you accept, they accept. Done.
Yep. See, now personally, I've never been scammed, but I do know some of my guys have, and some of my former members have.
I
which
have too.
It's easy to get scammed on here if you don't know the person. It's very easy.
So I
can't
very
tell you.
rarely trade with guys I don't know or have a history of trading with for a long time. Like
I
it
can
takes
tell you how many times I yell at people to use a courier.
Mm-hmm. We had to make an announcement for it just recently.
they're free and reliable, and there's some that back up their trades. Like if you get scammed using one of their couriers, they'll replace your weapon or item.
Yeah,
Let that be
those,
the PSA for
there's
this
several.
podcast. Use a courier.
Yeah.
What is
Yeah.
it?
Now, one
Fallout
thing
76 couriers on Facebook. That's what they do. They guarantee their
yes.
crits.
Now, I will say that compared to a year ago, there are significantly less trustworthy characters or couriers. I mean, so make sure, since we're putting out a PSA, make sure you're in a good group. Make sure it's a good courier group.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
verify
fair.
your courier. They all have some sort of identification.
That's the weird. I guess it's not a weird thing, more of a bad thing. That 76 is at a point to where you're either you're really stand up kind of person in the community, or you're just scum.
There's not
Really
really
no
any
in
in
between these
between
days.
anymore.
Not that I've experienced.
I don't know. For me, it depends on who you ask. I know some people will say I'm the absolute scum of the earth, but those are also normally people I've beaten to the pulp into a ground multiple
Well,
times.
that's just my personal opinion, all right. But we're here to talk about you, not me.
Oh, here we go. Come on, let's hear it.
No,
Will you
no,
accept my proposal
I
of
couldn't.
marriage?
I
Oh
couldn't.
my god, it's beautiful.
Oh my God, Snarky's proposing.
Live
Is that
on
what I just heard?
television?
Hey, wait, what?
Does that mean I get dual citizenship?
Next topic.
Wouldn't that be
Well, if
triple?
you
Nice
guys-
subject change.
Fine, Snarky. I guess we'll ask this question. So, with the 8th, I know you've talked about, you have a strong PvP, PvE presence in the community. As far as it comes to your inner group workings, in ABOS we have, we're PvE based. So we're doing tons of what we call operations and patrols, in-game quests that we make up, essentially. Does the 8th have something like that?
Yes, we normally run. We've got patrols, operations. We've even got specialized task forces you can go into, which include you have to achieve certain tasks while under the watch of the task force leader or trainer, or even play. Like our easiest one is combat medic. It requires you to earn 2 tadpole badges. I think one might be possum, one's a tadpole, whichever it is, and then send it in as proof, and you earn that badge.
Okay.
Which
That's
is
a cool
something.
idea, actually.
It's
That is a cool
something
idea.
that we came up with probably a year and a half ago now, roughly. Actually, one of the task forces called Liberty Prime Task Force has gone under 3 or 4 different revisions, but it's been in as long as I've been in, which is something I've not seen a lot of other chapters actually do. Has been like have specialized task forces, groups, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I think the most that we would have would be squads, but even then they're not a specialized unit.
Now, we had a squad system a while ago. We threw it out. It was just too much micromanagement on top of having to manage everything else going on.
It's super interesting hearing what works for which groups because you'll have all of these Brotherhood groups and you'll have one thing work for them, but the other group it can't work for them.
Exactly.
It's it's so cool to see the different dynamics that each community has because it kind of reassures the fact that you know what you're doing, it won't work everywhere else, and that kind of makes you unique in your own identity.
Mm-hmm.
Because even though we're all united, under the Brotherhood of Steel, we're all so vastly different.
I can
So
tell you
cool to
from
get that
personal
insight.
experience, I've never met 2 Brotherhood groups that are even remotely similar.
Yeah, it's a very interesting dynamic that clans have had. Like this is my very first ever video game group, so this is all new to me. I'm constantly learning.
Oh
I've
hell,
never been in any
you
other groups.
You and Static are one and the same. Meanwhile, and here's the other side of the coin, for instance. I've been on Xbox for 15 years now, roughly. And out of those 15, 14 have been spent in clans, whether being a member or being a leader of them.
Yeah, I can relate to that, actually. I've been on Xbox for 14 years. And it's all been
ABOS
clan
was my
stuff.
very first. I went 15 years without playing it with any groups.
Well, it's got its own positives as well, because, groups do
for
come with
sure.
a lot of drama.
I just remember playing Halo 3 back in the 360 days. If you put the mic on, nobody was quiet. Like, you didn't put the mic on to be quiet. And,
No, not at all.
like,
I mean,
a Halo 3 public matchmaking lobby was the most toxic thing that ever existed.
Yep.
all right. I see your Halo 3 lobby, and I'll raise you Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 lobby.
I was going to mention that as well. Those are pretty bad. I've heard some outrageous things in those lobbies.
The absolute worst 3 games with open lobbies that I've ever been, or open mic lobbies I've ever been part of, has been in this order from worst to, or no, let's go least worst to worst, would be Call of Duty Black Ops 2, Call of Duty Ghost, and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. In that order.
I'm very glad I did not have my own 360 account and I played off of my buddies when I went to his house, because that part of history of my life will never be brought to light.
Dude, you really had to fuck up on there to get banned. Xbox did not have, like, a system in place for, like, handling that at all.
Not nearly as strict.
Like, they've tightened their shit up a lot over the years. Like, 360, you could have 84... This is my own percentages here. On Xbox 360, 84% of people avoided me. 84%.
I wish they'd bring that button back so I could click on your profile.
Like, dude, if you go play an Xbox 360 game on the one, you can look at it. Like, you can go verify it if you choose to.
Oh, yeah.
It's ridiculous. I have such a
even know
bad
if I
rap on
want.
360.
Yeah, I don't even know if I want to go back and look, because the 360 me is completely different from the Xbox One me.
Same. Completely
The maturity that you
Well,
can.
yeah.
That's so cool.
I was like
just
13,
hearing people's
14 years
experience.
old. I was a little asshole.
Yeah, like
Well, I mean, not just the maturity either. I mean, I don't know about you, skill, but for me, the skill level has definitely changed. Has
get it. Skill.
extremely changed.
Skill.
Well, shut up.
With that cheesy joke, I'm gonna go use the restroom, so I'll be right back.
You do that.
I personally feel like ever since I started playing 76, my game skill has gone down dramatically.
Yep, well, that's what happens when you use explosive
Mine's-
guns and stuff constantly.
Well,
Mine's
it's
50-50
either that or you're
with
just
76.
vatzing.
And vatzing, yes.
Auto aim.
Just be a heavy gun build with a 50 cal. You'll be fine.
That's what I mean. You
That
don't
is-
have to.
yeah.
You just point, like, you literally just grab a gun and just kind of fuck everything in that
Well-
general direction.
I will say, though, the PvP aspect of 76 does definitely help with that game skill. A lot. Because a lot of what we always practice and preach is being able to track a moving target. Which is something you'll hear about on Call of Duty, Battlefield, basically any other major shooting game.
I feel like without VATS, it's a lot harder to track people on 76 just because of all the perks and the things that you could do, like jetpacks and marsupial.
Well, it's just
Make
like,
that-
for instance, say go back in the day to when Advanced Warfare came out. You had all the outcry because in multiplayer you had these people that could slide faster and further, or you
Yeah.
had the exosuit double jump and shit like that. Like, yeah, it's a new concept, but it's probably going to be one that's going to stay around for a while, so you may as well get used to it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Which is
Didn't
kind of the
Black
same
Ops
thing with
does.
76.
Yeah.
Didn't Black Ops 3 or 4 do that too with the wall running?
Yeah.
I think
I
that
That was
was
didn't
kind of what
care
started
for
it,
it.
I think, in my opinion. In 3,
I
yeah.
didn't care for that at all.
Like thruster
I thought
packs
that
and
was
wall
a
running.
really, I thought that was a dumb idea.
The only game that did it really well, in my opinion, was Titanfall.
Agreed.
Titanfall was a good game. I
Yeah.
like Titanfall.
Doesn't deserve where it is right now. I think it deserves a lot more praise.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Titanfall's one of the, and here's a pun since we're on puns, was
Here we
one of
go.
the great titans that fell
Nah.
of the game of gaming. I mean, it truly is. Titanfall was its own unique idea.
It is.
The first one was a hit, even the second one was a hit, and then it's just been completely and utterly neglected.
Well, because it gets overshadowed by the other like FPS titans.
Oh,
yeah, they Call of Duty and Halo have just kind of dominated the market when it comes to FPSs.
Which they're
At
good.
least competitive at FPSs.
By
I
now,
mean,
I want to try
here-
something different.
Here's a hot take, and I know Skill's gonna hate me for this one. I never liked Halo. Never did. Never could get into it.
Oh,
So
That
here's
hurts
the
me.
scoop, Chief, and I'm going to tell you. I don't really disagree.
both my hearts.
Halo Reach sucks so bad.
Halo 4 has
Cannot
got to be
begin to tell
probably
you.
the best one out
Chad,
of
help.
all of them.
Bro, I'm just saying, I've watched gameplay and the storylines of
Yeah,
all
tell
of
them how
them.
good Halo is. Don't
There
listen.
has never been a Halo that has caught my eye and been like, oh shit, I need to play that.
So
Like,
You,
not
you were
Halo-
alive when Halo 3 is around. Don't lie.
So here's my take on it. Halo 1 revolutionized an industry.
All right.
Halo 2 expanded upon that, made a very good game. Halo
Yeah.
3 continued down that line, was a very
Sure
good
did.
game. Then they lost her.
Yeah. Okay.
Master Chief has defeated, what is it now? 9 armies, 10, a dozen, killed a couple
Okay.
million. Is it? Like,
I will admit
Hey,
I'm
look.
done with Chief as well.
Like,
Hey,
would
look,
it
all
hurt
I
him
have to
to
say
create a
is
different-
Master
the
Chief
univ-
he's got the
the-
greatest plot armor in history. Change my
right?
mind.
You can drop from orbit. You can literally break orbit and just drop like a fucking bag of concrete. Oh, his
It's the
armor's
gel
locked
layer.
up. It's the gel layer. Oh, the gel layer. So stupid. Like, they couldn't even just make a ship that he just crash lands in. Like just
Oh, no,
a little
that's not nearly
escape
as
pod
badass.
even. No.
no. You
Head
already did it in the
first.
first one. That's old news.
Alright. Dear God. So getting back to the hot take. So like I said, Halo, never liked it. You can't change my mind about that. Moving on to Call of Duty. Call of Duty, until the most recent installments, has been stupid overrated since Modern
Yep.
Warfare 2. Or since the original Modern Warfare 2.
Modern Warfare 3.
For 2 is so good.
I like 3. I will agree. Snarky the other day said it pretty much was a DLC.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that.
Modern Warfare
But
3, I
survival
enjoyed the storyline, but that was it. That was all I enjoyed
Survival
about
mode
Modern
was
Warfare
so
3.
fucking amazing. I will refuse to believe that anybody hated that game mode.
I didn't care for it.
I
But
didn't care
I
for
don't
it
care
either.
for you. You
so
guys are awful.
when it comes to Call of Duty, my main reason for playing it all these years has been zombies. It didn't have
Same.
zombies.
Oh, of course.
Mine
yeah,
has always
zombies
been the
is a crutch.
storyline first, followed by the zombies.
And
A buddy of mine, I've been playing zombies with him for a long time. You know him, Skill Mew. We took
Yeah.
you through a couple Easter eggs.
He was
He's
in chat
a
earlier.
big zombies guy.
Alright, excuse
Like-
me for 1 second, guys. I'm running to the restroom.
yeah,
You're good.
I like the zombies, but even that kind of I lost more interest in more once they dropped off the Richtofen Dempsey Takai and,
Yeah.
or Takio.
I know what you mean. They had a good story going with the older COD games, like
But
World of War and stuff.
I understand why they got to end it. It come up with new characters and stuff. I get
dragging
that.
it
That's
out.
fine. But which I get. At least I can say that they didn't Master Chief it.
At least they did try to bring a story into it rather than just being a mindless wave-based zombie game. I can give them
Yeah.
credit for that.
But beyond that, I never really cared for Call of Duty. I played the multiplayer in 2 and 3. of Black Ops 2 and 3. I've always been a Treyarch guy. I've never played Infinity Ward all that much. I played Modern Warfare 2. The storylines in Modern Warfare 1 and Modern Warfare 2. Beyond that, never really cared for any of it. So I played, like, I did the whole, what was it, Captain Price and Soap, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was Modern Warfare 1, 2, and like half of 3.
Yeah, okay.
Rest in peace, John McTavish. Gone but not forgotten.
Who? Just joking.
What?
So,
Moving along. They pretty much did, yeah. Schwig, they switched from Titanfall to Apex because they're super similar.
Apex Legends or whatever?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm so sad.
Don't
that
even
they
get me
made
started
switch.
on that trash heap.
Titanfall
Well, look what
was
you've done.
such a good series.
And then they ruined it with Apex. I agree.
Oh.
There's
Still haven't
another
played
hot
Apex
take of
Legends,
mine.
so I can't say.
See, you just broke Starkey's heart.
Well, see,
I'm just reading chat.
here's the biggest hot take for me: is battle royales are extremely overrated.
I don't think they're they are overrated, but I still think they're a good game mode. Like, they should just enter it into, like, rotation with the other game modes. Like, if you're gonna make a multiplayer game, include that into your rotation as just, like, another, like, game type to play. Like, because it is a fun thing to do. It's not.
It is fun,
It's not
but-
fun enough to where I'd base an entire game just off of that.
Yeah, I would let the games that really do battle royales well, just let them, I don't know. With games like Battlefield, when they try to do a battle royale, it just obviously doesn't work.
I don't know. I absolutely loved Nuclear Winter.
Oh,
It
got
was
really
fun,
into
but
it.
it wasn't too popular.
Oh, dude.
It was not popular, but
It was fun,
I don't
though.
know why, but I've tried Fortnite, I've tried Apex Legends, I've tried Battlefield, I've tried quite a few different ones. The only one I could remotely stand was Fallout, Nuclear Winter, and
Yeah, that's a hot take.
they
I mean-
they had a good weapon balance system in it. They had good item distribution. Like, the only balancing issue that they had was the Gauss shotgun, which was wildly
Okay,
overpowered.
yeah.
I mean,
But-
here's my hot take. I started playing Nuclear Winter when the Gauss shotgun was that overpowered, so that in its entirety basically ruined my whole Nuclear Winter experience.
Oh, see, I played quite often long before they added the Gauss shotgun. And before that was added, it was very nice. There was, like, really no imbalance issues. It was really just what you could find and the skill to get you through.
Yeah,
And I
That's
always got
the-
through.
that's the thing with Fallout. Like, they got a good variety of weapons. There's just, like, one weapon in each category that really overshadows a little too much to each weapon, and that's
I
kind of
don't
what
think
ruins
so,
the
because, like, even if somebody's coming at you with, like, the tri-barrel missile launcher, let's say, because that is one of the more overpowered guns,
yeah.
it's not like you were just dead to rights. You got a chance.
But it raises the chances, and, like, you know, it's...
Well, yeah, but that's also just like a luck of the draw kind of thing, which was
course.
something I
Yep,
kind
that's
of
Battle
liked
Royale
about
thing.
it. Yeah, and I do like that because it winning a battle royale involves luck and skill.
Yeah.
Like, you can't have one without the other. You got to be lucky and decent.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like they put the most OP weapons in the battle royale either. Like the GAT plasmas, GAT lasers,
Right.
a lot of that's, the flamers too. They kept that stuff out of the game because it would just turn into stupidity.
No, like I said, I'm glad they picked a good variety of weapons when it came to Nuclear Winter, but there is a couple that kind of...
I
Like, we were
tell
talking
you
about the
what.
Gauss shotgun before.
The blue submachine gun, the 45 cal submachine gun, fucking slapped.
Yep.
That thing
Yeah, it
put
does.
work down. Oh man, you give that to David. You remember I don't know if you really remember playing with him, but oh, dude, he'd put some work in.
The only good thing to say about him.
He was good at nuclear winter. I'll give him that.
Oh, I just spent my drink everywhere.
Not
So I have a fun part here because we've been name dropping it for a bit. The S.D.A.
The Steel Dawn Alliance.
Here we go.
So why don't you get like the most monotone, authoritative expression that you can make? What is the S.D.A.?
Well, as soon as Skill is done ear raping us with his ice gathering.
Hey, I'm sorry. Do you want me? Do you want sober me or drunk me? It's up to you.
That's actually a good question.
That is a good question.
It's a fair question.
I've not had the pleasure to speak with a drunk Skill yet. I think I've spoken with a
Yeah,
buzzed
Pleasure's
Skill.
a stretch.
It's interesting, that's for sure.
Hey, I'm just saying, and before we get into the S.D.A. stuff, Static, and I know he'll probably hate me for saying this if he watches this or listens to it, but there was a time, you guys remember Elder Nova? I know you would.
Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there was a time back when he was Lion's Pride Brotherhood. I'm sure you all might recognize that name.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
When he had approached us and said, Lion's Pride had rolled up to it was one of our members or an allies camp had completely surrounded them with weapons pointed at them and said, hey, you're either going to talk with us peacefully or we're just going to completely eradicate you or something along those lines. So Static, as he normally was, completely drunk off his mind on bourbon, went into Nova's party and told him to either fuck off or we would rain hell on him.
So,
So
inadequate
that
response.
so there is Bloody Eighth in a nutshell. But so what is it? Okay, well, back to the Steel Dawn Alliance. So Steel Dawn and Steel Dawn Alliance are one and the same to a point. Steel Dawn is basically just a social hub for anything and everything Brotherhood. Obviously, right now we're mainly all Xbox players. I think there's a few PlayStation 4, maybe a few PC players.
I think
And
there's
it's
two of each.
I believe so too, roughly around that mark. And then going further into the Steel Dawn Alliance side of it. Oh, Maria, I had one. Oh, right here it is. Sorry about that. But going further into the Steel Dawn Alliance side of it, it is essentially just a like-minded alliance of Brotherhood chapters that all seek to bring a better name to some of the Brotherhood. Or I should say to the Brotherhood community on 76. Because I know beforehand, really the only well-known one, which Skill you might have heard of a few others before. Really the only well-known one was Lion's Pride. And they were only known as being complete and utter dickheads.
Well, you got to remember General Anderson's little alliance thing he had
God.
going. You got to remember that. That
I
was
remember
fun.
I remember hearing horror stories about that.
Oh, it was exactly that. It was a shit show.
Yeah, we never had the pleasure of taking part in anything like that, but I remember hearing the horror stories.
I went to 2 meetings. Regretted both of it.
Now, yeah, the only well-known names back then were, Lion's Pride, that whole General Anderson conglomerate, which we never took part in, and then at the time would have been the UBOS, the United Brotherhood of Steel, not to be confused with TUB, which was the original The United Brotherhood. This one I'm referring to was by Elder Kings, as I'm sure 90% of us here know that name.
Mm-hmm.
I know Skill does.
Oh, yeah.
I am
Just,
so new to
He
the
asked,
alliance stuff.
dude,
He asked me if
Kings,
our group would merge into his group.
Here's the thing. Kings was not a bad kid. I know that's a hot take. I know that's a very hot take. But the first Brotherhood group I was part of was the 1st Survey Battalion, which was one of the original Brotherhoods. I had to go on a leave of absence for about 3-4 months. I came back. It was only myself, the proctor at the time, which was named Pixel, which I still keep in contact with, and Kings. Well, I went to join the new Brotherhood that stemmed off of that one called the United Brotherhood of Steel. Ended up being Kings that turned into complete and utter racist, homophobic, and transphobic asshole. And I said, I don't want anything to do with this.
See, I never really got that impression from Kings. I just thought he was kind of arrogant. But he had something that was working for him. I was happy for him. I told him, no, we're not interested, and have a nice day, you know.
I mean, I'm just saying, if you want the file, I have a Discord channel with over 300 images of Kings as well as his members posting racist, homophobic, and transphobic stuff.
Yikes.
Basically, anything that's discriminatory.
Big old yikes.
Yeah. Like I said, there's well over 300 images of the stuff. Like, it's sketchy.
Man. Yeah, I actively tried to avoid people like that.
That's for the longest time, we were stick to ourselves. I think in my tenure is when we really started branching out into the 76 community as a whole. Because when I was brought into the fold of ABOS,
we were quite isolationist.
We had 2 alliances. We had what was Cartwright, Exodus, and who else? There was one more I know we for sure had.
Oh, there was Scraps Group.
It wasn't Scraps. I forget who else it was, but I know for sure we had Exodus. There was another one, but the name is failing me. But yeah, prior to S.D.A., I think it was a big stepping stone for at least ABOS's.
Well, we did that alliance, the alliance council that Hunter. It's where I knew Hitman from too. It was me, Hunter, Hitman.
Did he just
Elder
die?
Charles.
There he is.
And somebody else. And like we all had our own Brotherhood Steel group, you know, and we all just kind of met and talked every 2 weeks or something like that. But
yeah,
that was the only other official alliance thing that we had. But that fell apart within 3 weeks, I think. That was like 6 months before we joined S.D.A.
That's actually very similar to how the 8th was. Like, whenever I first joined the 8th, we were extreme isolationists. As in, if you went out into the Brotherhood community and asked who the Bloody 8th was, nobody would know who you were talking about. I mean, we had one allied group at the time, and that was, I forget the name of the chapter, I want to say it was the Western BOS, led by Northern Demon at the time. That fell apart within 4 months of me being an actual rank of being proctor. And then after that, throughout Bloody's tenure, we really didn't make any allies with the exception of those that myself and Static kept. And once Static became older, we started branching out a little bit more. And then we came across this wonderful, I use the term lightly, group called the Nation of Steel. Skill, I'm sure you know who I'm talking about, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
So, we did the quote-unquote interview process to join the Nation of Steel. It was myself and my head Sentinel Slayer at the time that had went and stepped in for the interview process. Initially, I was all for it. And then they started saying, well, you're going to have to break contact with anybody who is on our specific blacklist, which at the time was people, as you mentioned before, skilled like Khaleesi.
Mm-hmm.
And that just entirely broke the deal for me, and I said, hell with it. And Static and I sat down and got to talking. There may or may not have been alcohol involved. And then the idea came for our own Brotherhood Alliance chapter. Or not chapter, but a group. And thus, Steel Dawn was born.
So, just out of curiosity, because Khaleesi was on that no contact list. Why was she on there?
To my knowledge, I'd originally made contact with Kat. You remember Kat, don't you?
I know. I got a couple different cats on the
Cat
list. No, I don't know. Don't know him.
Okay, that she was the original elder of the Black Wolves. I had met her through Holy. She was part of the Outcast at that time, was their head scribe. She introduced me to Khaleesi, who is their general. And then, the four of us started hanging out here and there. And then they introduced us to the NOS thing. We started going in the interview process. And then maybe a week or two before the interview, they had just completely kicked and blacklisted Kat and Khaleesi out of nowhere. When Kat and Khaleesi were the ones doing 90% of the work for that Outcast chapter. So they left, did their own thing, created what is now known as the Black Wolves. And then as soon as it came time for the interview process, we went in knowing they kicked them for kicked and blacklisted for absolutely no reason. When asked about it, or when we inquired about it to them, they said we were not worthy enough to know why they were blacklisted.
Oh.
That was the exact line that was used.
Well, geez, Grieve, why don't you get on their level?
Oh, I'm just so sorry I don't want to be on the same level as an egotastic son of a bitch.
Man, that's part of that.
You gotta level up, bro.
But, yeah, and so they said that to us, and then Slayer and I basically said, nah, fuck that, we don't need that kind of shit. We left. Static and I then talked later on. It was either that night, maybe even the next week. And then we had both been drinking, and we said, well, fuck it. We pulled a bender and said, fuck it, I'm going to go start my own Brotherhood Alliance with blackjack and hookers. Thus the idea
forget the hookers.
Yeah, and thus the idea for S.D.A. was born, and it was myself, Static, and Khaleesi at the time. I believe Boogie might have also... No, it wasn't Boogie, it was Elder Cube of the Blood
I
Pact.
remember Cube.
Yeah, we were all basically the co-founders of Steel Dawn. And then from there... Go ahead.
This stuff is in video games.
Yeah.
Like, I would have never imagined that a community could reach a point forming alliances.
Actually,
how
not.
significant they are to what this degree has an impact on the community.
Mm-hmm.
Would have never thought that in a million years.
No, it has a significant impact, as crazy as it may sound. Now, obviously, your 76 clans are a hell of a lot different from, say, like your Call of Duty clans were back in the day. To where you could all be on the same team. You couldn't friendly fire each other unless you were playing hardcore. Now, looking at 76, you can be nuked, you can be griefed in a workshop, you can be... There's a whole other slew of things that can happen. And the point of S.D.A. is to try to help defend each other against shit like that from happening.
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm proud that we're actually a part of that alliance, because, I don't know, like fighting the good fight makes me feel good.
You just mentioned nuked and getting grieved, and I just pictured the bald guy from Lightning's little meme thing.
Okay.
Oh, shit. Oh.
It's burned into my mind now. One of our paladins used to be our sentinel. He made this meme. It's just goofy. I'll send it to you after we get done. You'll chuckle a little bit. But it just kind of captions each of us. It's a little silly.
A little...
Don't make it. Don't do it.
I mean, I get to be Walter White, so I'm cool with it.
So, like, with the entirety of, like, the 76 community, what impact do you think the SDA has had so far? And to that extent, too, like, in the future, do you think SDA will have an even bigger impact on the community?
We definitely hope to, but do I ever think it's going to get up to the Bethesda level? Probably not. But the fact of the matter is, whatever difference we can make on the 76 Xbox side of things is better than it was. Because, I mean, the way that it stands right now, skill says, hey, I'm getting shot at, my guys are getting griefed, can you come help? I guarantee you we'll have a server full of 12 to 13 Bloody Eighth members in less than 5 minutes.
Oh God, and I love that about you guys. Just no hesitation.
Well,
Because
that's
ABOs, we're tiny little weaklings. We don't like to
Well, it's not our
stand
thing.
up for
We're just,
ourselves.
yeah.
And it's nice to have that backup if needed, because
It is.
our guys, we cater to that PvE experience. And
Yeah.
just having people that we know, and even in non-PvP situations, like, it is such a reassuring fact that there are other groups and people in those groups that are willing to give a lending hand, vice versa.
Oh yeah, for sure. But like I said, that's most of the reason why S.D.A. was created, was to make sure we all had each other's back and we had somebody to call on if something went wrong.
Yeah. I appreciate that about the group for sure.
So the biggest thing I've had as a takeaway from the SDA, and this is just me personally, but it's been a great tool to help me look at the way we're doing things and look at the way other people do things, and like kind of think about, okay, they're doing that, we're doing this, what can we do to do what we do better?
Yeah, we can improve, and yeah, we all use each other's ideas. I'm sure.
Not even ideas really, but experience. Like, think about it this way. Sitting at this table right now, we have 10 years of Fallout 76 clan leadership.
How that worked.
We have a decade of experience right here. And I mean,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So like, that's a lot of stuff you can take away from and learn from.
Yeah.
And
Well,
put on
I
top of
thought
that
it's
too,
different
you've
first.
got Snarky's history of helping run clans or just being part of clans, and my 14 years of it too.
Actually, yeah, now that you mention it, we got over 20 years worth of experience here. I got 3.5 with the ABOS because this is my first group. Vault's got 2. You got 14. Snarky's got whatever.
A lot.
You know, that's over 20 years
I don't
of
wanna talk
experience. That's
about
older than that. Vault ain't even 20 yet.
This month, I turned 20 this month. Couple days.
Wow.
Hoorah.
Oh, what a baby!
I know.
So
Always so
young
fun.
and innocent.
It's just always so funny, like, a bunch of, like, when the people first join ABOS, like, they always think I'm in my 30s, and it's like, I don't understand it, like, I'm still a teenager, how do you expect it? And then you'll get to the point to where I'm putting 2 30-year-olds in a party, sitting them down, talking each other's feelings out, and why does the 19-year-old have to do this? Why can't 30-year-olds
Oh,
act
I
like
knew the
adults?
feeling. I was
Mhm.
I was 14, 15, if not even younger than that, having to sit down with like 20-plus-year-old men, having to sit them down in a fucking party and be like, all right, look, you two both can't be doing this shit. You need to either shut the fuck up or move on about it.
Yeah, it's like, it should be the other way around.
The internet
You should
ages
be
you.
berating me.
Yeah, right?
I'm the child here, not you.
I mean, we did that with Peppy. I berated Peppy a few times.
That's also
And he was
because,
younger.
like, yeah, like, that's how it should be. The
Yeah,
youngers
oh yeah, absolutely.
getting berated by the olders, not vice versa.
Of course,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I guess I didn't get into the community stuff until I was in my late 20s, so.
So, like, with the state of 76 right now as a whole, what do you think we're like, I hate to sound so doom and gloomy, but we all know,
It's hard not to. Yeah.
like, at least in my opinion, I could be wrong, could be a hot take, but like, I think we're really piggybacking off of what the pit's gonna do for the game. I think that's gonna be the real big, like, kind of Custer's last stand moment for 76. What do you guys think?
I mean, the state that it is right now, and even the state it may be in 3 to 6 months down the line, is completely unknown. But a lot of what drives not only this game, but a lot of the older games, just like we were talking about earlier with Titanfall, is just the kind of, not necessarily a cult following behind it, but just the following that there is. So, I mean, regardless, the 8's been around for this long, it's going to continue to be along for a while. So the 8's never going to really quit playing or quit focusing on 76. I'm sure the ADOS is about the same. It's
Pretty
all
much,
about
yeah.
the community members that have made a family out of it and are going to continue to play with the game that they love.
See, that's like, if I'm catching that correctly, that's our goal too. Is for like the ABOS. If I have anything to say about it, is not going to die with 76. We're gonna ride that ship until the sails fall off.
I'm
But
not more worried about
Precisely.
like the community. It's the Bethesda's. What are they gonna do? Because they're a company at the end of the day, right? They're a business. They don't care about. I mean, as much as I like to say, like, I think we all here enjoy Bethesda games, and for the most part, they're a great company. But they're a company at the end of the day, and that's what I just worry about: is are they going to start prioritizing the profit margins rather than the player experience?
well,
As long
I
as-
still stand by the fact that I think 76 is profitable, because
Yeah.
you look at the development team that they have on it versus how many people you think buy Atoms.
Oh, people love microtransactions.
Oh, dude, people
So-
buy the hell out of those Atoms. I know a lot of people that
I'm
have
a
dropped
victim.
hundreds.
Yeah, same. As unpopular as it was, I bet Fallout makes money in the end.
I may or may not have bought items yesterday, but we don't talk about that.
You may or may not have a monthly
Yeah.
recurring Fallout first bill.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that. That doesn't. I don't like that.
I mean, I'm just saying though, Fallout First 110% is worth it for the scrap box alone. Changed my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with you.
I don't even
But
use
that's-
the private server, to be honest with you. I hope Bethesda isn't listening so they don't get rid of it, but, yeah.
I mean, I hope
really
they are
do.
listening and they understand they need to increase the player count to be able to hold a full server.
That'd
So,
be nice.
hot take here.
Hot take is the
What
word of the day, by the way.
Yes. What they need to do is, with the private servers, is scrap the whole format that they're using now and adopt a, like, if you have Fallout First, you own a server.
Yeah, like a public
And-
server, but private.
But private, full size, 24 people, whatever. And when you log off of it, it continues. It doesn't just, like,
Yep.
after 20 minutes revert back to, it doesn't wipe.
Yep.
You know
I
what I
would
mean?
love that
So,
system.
'cause
So what you're saying is kind of good to like how the Battlefield 4 private servers were back in the day.
I can't
times.
speak to that because I never played Battlefield 4.
So what it
You like
is
rented a
is
server for
the-
the.
yeah, you
the best
rented an
thing
actual
I can explain
DICE
it,
server.
the best thing I could explain it to is a Minecraft server.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
same
even
thing.
if the
Dedicated
server
servers, yeah,
owner
you're right.
isn't home or on, you can get onto that server and do whatever you want to do, and your changes are recorded with the within the server. So like, could you imagine if like the Brotherhood just took over Morgantown and fortified every road and every street and every house in the entire city?
It'd be great. It'd be
Just-
really cool.
Now,
Completely discard the building restrictions and
Personally,
build up.
I don't feel like they'd ever do anything like that.
I
but
don't think they will either,
wish-
but I think it'd be the coolest thing ever.
I do wish if they were to do one thing like what you're talking about with like the Minecraft realms, is say if you made or did however they wanted to do it your own Fallout 76 server. Like say if the Bloody Eighth went and rented their own Fallout 76 server. Behave just like a public server, but only 8th members could join, and the camps that you had always were there.
Yeah, that and
It's
the
just
same
like you
thing with
guys
the
have going here.
workshops.
Exactly.
Like you should,
Just like how
like
you
if you
guys have
load
down
in,
here with your 3 camps in a row, we've got our own little system with that too. And whenever you can't have everybody on at the same time, it gets kind of hard to track where you have available spaces or not.
yeah. Well, that and with workshops too. Like you load into the server, you just getting on for the day. You load in, workshops already built up, fortified, ready to go,
You just
producing,
collect some stuff, move on.
just
Yeah.
producing for you already. Like how many times do I have to place the nuclear waste and the acid extractor at Monongah? How many times do I gotta do that? I'm sick of it. And the 3
Well,
acid
like,
extractors at Hemlock Holes. I'm sick
correct
of
me
it.
if I'm
I've
wrong
placed
too,
those
but like,
so many times.
how long ago in the roadmap was persistent workshops mentioned?
I didn't
I
even
don't
know
think
that
it
was
was.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't think it ever was.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
that
thought it
was
was
never
talked about
mentioned.
once.
That's
Okay.
not a thing. Don't get my hopes up like that, Snarky. You
I
break
don't
my
know.
heart.
I thought it was a long time ago.
So,
You
have
break
any
my
of you
damn
guys
heart.
played ESO? Or like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
do they have an in-game guild system?
They do.
Yeah.
So why doesn't 76 have that?
Because they're
Because
cheap.
I don't think they expected 76 to have as much of a clan following as ESO did.
I think that's another thing I could think of that would easily bring more people back into it. Is having that dedicated like roster system.
When Wastelanders was first like being announced and everything, they kind of the idea was being thrown around, but I don't know. Nothing ever came of it though.
Because like all they would
Like
have
there
to do
was,
is it's like a separate friends list, except you can just
yeah.
like have
They talked
everybody
about
that's
a-
in your clan.
They talked about like a faction system and all that, and all it ended up being was the stupid little ally friendly
Oh, for the
like
settlers and the raiders.
the reputation thing. The rep
Yeah, look
grind.
how far that went.
They just made a rep grind, that's all. Broke my heart. Broke my goddamn heart.
Remember when we were all thinking we were going to get a BOS rep system and it was actually going to like rank us up in it? And yeah, that would have been a great idea.
See, now I have a question for everybody at the table. Do you think they're going to continue the Appalachian BOS storyline within 76 under
I
Romani
hope so.
and or Shin, whoever you choose?
I really hope so,
No.
but I don't think they will.
I think they'll do it kind of like how we did in the Brotherhood quest line, to where we had, we still had raider and settler content happening. So it'll just be like there'll be an integral part, like kind of how they were. They're not going to get a main focus, I don't think. It'll just be, hey, we're here. Here is the direct actions of or consequences of your actions that you made in the previous stories.
So I don't think that the only way that they could like to add any other storyline involving the Brotherhood of Steel is if either Romani or Shin, whoever you chose, returns to the fold and like have a merging of the storylines so that everybody is on the same page again. Because otherwise, there's too many variations for the creation engine to handle. Because let's face it can't handle a lot. And if you merge them back together and everybody's on the same level again, then they could continue something. But I don't think they could have any like deviations, because I just don't think the servers could keep up with it. Even if it's only two variations, I don't think they could keep track of that many. There's too many things.
It depends, because like we mentioned before with ESO, they have a lot of different instances and stuff depending on what choices you make in the game. So
But they're running.
it's a different engine, different
engine.
every yeah.
Yeah, the
Like, it is
engine
different
makes
completely.
makes the whole. The engine is the biggest thing. The creation the creation engine is over 20 years old. She's an old engine.
Yeah, that's rough.
She's tired.
She's tired.
Got a little blow by on the pistons. You know what I mean? Them rings ain't too good no more.
You hear that, Reigns? Not too good anymore.
Is that a thing? Is that an inside joke or? Anybody even listening to us anymore? I feel like we've rambled so long that like they've just stopped listening.
No, we.
No,
I
we
mean,
got,
I
we got
do.
5 loyal viewers. That's great. Appreciate everybody here.
And we also have lightning staring at us through the wall over here.
So
I see that.
I went to change
I-
the camera filter. I wanted to experiment with that. I got a face full of lightning as soon as I exited.
A face full of lightning.
That's
There's
something
your
no one
quote.
wants.
He's like a little kid with like if only he had his hands on the glass, you know. It was just like pressed up against it, just looking.
And like his nose
Yeah.
smushed up
Oh, I
against
can't
it
do that.
too, just fogging up the glass.
Do a song
Then he
for the
fogs
camera
it up
legend.
and like like writes a little heart in it.
He's like a lost puppy sometimes.
That's just because you won't put a leash on him.
Ooh.
I mean, technically though, you're the High Elder, isn't that your job?
No, that's an elder job. That's
Is it
beneath
though?
me.
What's
See-
your job besides drinking whiskey and yelling at them?
That's a good question, actually.
Well,
See, there he goes. He's got his hand on the glass.
Call that.
So,
There was an operation the other day where I could hear every time you popped the cork off of something. I forget whose it was, but I heard every single time.
me?
Yeah, no, it was the 4th of July party. Every time I heard you.
Well,
open
yeah, who's getting
the cork.
hammered? Fuck off. You know
This man
what?
said,
Nope,
well, yeah, I was getting hammered. Fuck off.
Yeah, fuck off. I was drinking corked whiskey, all right? That's
It's an
how you
odd
know
man.
I'm classing it up.
class.
I was literally drinking Jack Daniels, the 27 gold Maplewood
Yeah.
finish, 10-year aged, 40% 80 proof.
When you sent us that picture, I looked it up
Why
and I
don't
was
you
like,
say that 3 times fast?
No.
I can't even remember it once.
Dude, I drank 3/4 of that bottle.
I
What the fuck is wrong with you?
And I had like 3-4 beers as well. So I cut her loose a little bit.
In the 8th, do you guys do like holiday parties?
There's been a few that we've done, such as, say, like, each year since we met Cat and Khaleesi, we've done, like, Halloween costume contests and stuff like that. The cat's over here smacking a can because it dragged it out of the fucking trash can. But, we've done, like, a Halloween costume contest, stuff like that. But, I mean, other than that, we just kind of let members do their own thing on holidays. If they're on and one of us is on, we're always in parties together.
We don't do it on the holiday. We do it like a week after, thankfully.
Yeah, whenever.
Yeah,
convenient.
it's either a week before or a week after, depending on schedules. That's what we always do, because, yeah, you can't compete with family shit. It's
No.
Nah, not at all.
Our
But,
4th of July party was the weekend after, I think.
Yeah, it was the 9th.
Yeah.
yeah, it's our thing, is your real life always comes first.
I'm
Yeah,
so
of
Of course,
glad
and
you
that's how
did
it should
that.
be. Yeah.
It's the way it's gotta be. You can't make people choose a video game over life. Like, you gotta get...
No.
You gotta
Oh,
gotta
I've been
handle
in
your
clans
shit.
where they've tried. I've been in many clans
Mhm.
where people have tried to do that shit.
Those clans should fall by the wayside because, like, you gotta handle your shit. Like, you gotta have a job. You gotta get shit done. You gotta clean your house, take care of your
Well, yeah.
pets, kids,
Or else
whatever.
you can't play
gotta...
with your group.
Exactly.
Oh, dude, back in the old Battlefield 4 days, I was part of a clan that wanted me to take a day off of work so I could participate in the clan battle.
I did.
Something,
gonna lie.
I don't know.
Not gonna lie. I called in sick 2 days when Wastelanders came out. 'Cause I
No,
wanted to
I
do
think
it with
everybody
people.
does that. I mean, everybody does
It's a,
that.
When
every
Fallout
now and
I
then
did do
it's
that.
okay.
In middle school, I skipped that day. And when Destiny 2 came out when I was in high school, I also skipped the next day.
I skipped for Halo Reach.
I never skipped school. Actually, no, I take that back.
Don't lie.
My all-time favorite game, Snarky Vault, you already know this, but Gears of War is hands down my favorite video game franchise of all time. And 1, 2, 3 Judgment all came out within 2 days of my birthday. It always releases the first week of November. That's when Gears of War has always come out. And it's like my birthday gift to myself. I'll call in for the day and just geek out with a new Gears of War and just, no blink the entire campaign. Not even a single blink.
Never heard that term before. No blinking a campaign. Is that like you can pass doing a 100% speed run or something?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like it's like doing an Elden Ring run in 12 minutes.
Jesus.
God. I still haven't beat that game. I'm at the final boss.
Sad.
So
It's a good one.
yeah, that's when I called in or skipped school was for Gears of War.
I've just noticed something that is now messing with me. There are two, so I get why. But there are two different sit-down animations for the characters, one for male, one for female. But
Oh,
the
yeah.
hand placement's different. Look at how different they are. Our hands are going through our codes. Their hands are just barely going through their codes. Like, just the right hand. But our hands are just
Weird.
completely sunken in.
It's almost like it was made for the female model. It's weird.
Yeah, what the fuck? That's gonna bother me, and I hope it bothers everybody else that sees it too.
Does now.
I've known about it for a long time. I just choose to ignore it.
It bothers me every time it's brought up.
Let me take a look at this. I'm not pointing
see
a
it,
gun
okay.
at you. I'm just pointing it in your general direction.
Alright,
think
well,
breached the
that's
room.
it. That's it. I gotta get the gap plays out.
No.
This is an
There are no
action.
crash
I
boxes
will
in
not
here.
stand for it.
Speak of which, since he brought that thing up, so Skill, I'm interested to know, why did you choose to go with a female character over a male on here?
So, I didn't. This character and all of my other characters other than my main were originally made as mules. And I literally just pressed A, and then A. And just literally just took whatever it handed out. And this is what it handed out. So,
Because what your main
Shoot.
is almost.
it was completely random, luck of the draw, whatever.
So your character's name,
Yes.
is that what I'm hearing?
Well, no, this character is actually named Clothes because it was a clothes mule.
Was.
So, what you're saying is you have a French name of Clovis.
It's
I mean,
foreign, you wouldn't understand.
I could call myself Blasé. I actually knew a guy that was named Blaze. And yeah,
Same.
it's French. Fancy.
You know how it was spelled?
Blas, I believe.
Oh, I had a friend
See,
that was
now, would you like to know-
B-L-A-I-S-E.
Would you like to know my reasoning behind why I'm playing a female character, Skill? Because I feel
Smaller
like you might
hitbox?
like me. That
looks
plays
better in
into
third
the
person.
reason why my 76 character is, yes. But originally on Fallout 4, which I'll go ahead and admit, Fallout 4 was my very first Fallout game I ever played. I'll
Same.
go ahead and put that out of the way right now. But I was told by a friend at the time, I'm not going to name drop who it is, but he said, if you play in third person, the view's a lot better if you play as a female character.
Oh my god. That is such a boomer thing to do.
That is
I remember hearing that back in,
very
like,
much
Fable
such
1.
a gamer thing to do. See, and then I heard 76 was going to have PvP, so just like most of my other characters, I did make a female character because, just like Skill said, they have a smaller hitbox.
Is that true?
Yes, actually.
That's.
I don't
can't
think it is really with 76, but with some of the more intricate PvP games it is, I think.
For sure.
I
So
don't
stuff
think- but-
like, George, stop playing with the can. I swear to God. as he hits it harder. But I swear to God, Cat. I swear to God.
Every time you try and talk.
Have you considered cooking him?
Well, I'm not
Your still
Asian,
makes a real good cat.
I have a
I'm
great
sorry.
recipe.
Cat ribs.
but cat ribs.
It's okay, I'm Asian, I'll
Now,
forgive you.
Now, back onto that topic, actually just getting a little bit onto why my character is the way that she is. If you actually do go ahead and look at the left-hand side of her face, you'll notice she is pretty well scarred. That came from what we know as the Second Battle of Fort Defiance when we court-martialed our second elder named Blade. It was my first taste of PvP, hopping around like you did back in the day with a laser rifle. Well, I hopped down into a cranberry trench, and there was a sheep squatch there. At that time, my build was not optimized for anything. So, I shit you not, that sheep squatch punched me in the face, killed me, and flung me across the map.
Damn,
Let's get a picture of that.
So, there's screenshots and game clips of it sitting around somewhere. I would have to find them. But
I honestly don't want to see the
clips,
game clips
screenshots.
because I want to continue imagining you just getting like Mortal Kombat uppercutted and then just flying.
Oh, that is pretty much exactly what happened.
See, that,
Was it this
I don't want to
Deathclaw
ruin
right
that
here?
image.
Is this the same one? Tell me, is this the face that's scarred?
It was a sheep squatch, actually, so try again.
Oh, I'll find one to terrorize you. Don't worry. I'll bring that back.
I would also
But,
like to take a minute. And I know this is off topic, and I apologize, but I do want to take a minute to let our viewers know that in about 30 minutes, I am going to be doing my traditional washing of the dishes during meetings.
Oh, for fuck.
So that's our timer to finish before 30 minutes. Okay.
You guys
But,
like
any
listening
questions?
to me do dishes.
Sure.
But yeah, so to finish up my little story about my character, that is why she has those scars across her face. And it was a pretty memorable moment in Bloody Eighth history, so I figured that'd be about the best way to commit it.
That's cool because we do like character lore stuff in our group. Like you hit a certain rank, you can like publish your character lore in like the group's archives.
If you
But
have
anybody
that kind of
can
like
make
passion for writing and stuff. 'Cause
Well,
not
we all
everyone
have
does.
our... That's something I've actually thought about bringing up to the council to add to the 8th. We may actually end up bringing it up here after this, but say, like, for instance, for my character, after that happened, she wore a mask for the longest time. She did not want her face to be seen whatsoever. She always wore it came with the Raider pack, I think it's called, like the
The
Reaver mask.
Yep.
Yeah, the looked just like a division mask, basically. She always wore that, and she always wore either patrolman sunglasses or something else to cover up the scar from the nose line up. And then once it finally healed, she started showing her face, and now here she is.
That's cool.
Yeah, I love when people can actually come up with stories for their characters and stuff that really shows they're passionate about Fallout. Because
No,
some
she
people have
has.
lost like eyes and stuff too.
Some people get
She-
crazy with the lore, though.
They do.
I will say
They do.
that.
A little too
some
crazy.
peop- like, I admire the creativity because I'm not very creative when it comes to that kind of stuff.
I didn't say it.
We had one guy who was genetically bred with a cheetah.
Let's not
what?
talk about that guy. Oh,
Hold on. Genetically
choice
bred
words
with
will
a
fly.
what?
Yep.
I wasn't in community council at the time. I didn't approve it. What the fuck were y'all thinking to let that happen? I'm just saying.
Oh, hold on. What was he genetically bred with? I did not
A
hear
cheetah.
that part.
So
Cheetah.
it'd be more mobile,
A
more strong,
cheetah.
like a super soldier kind of thing.
See, soldiers that are bred with cheetahs are more gooder.
More good.
And that's what happens to their brains. But, yeah, no, my character does have quite the elaborate backstory. I won't go into it fully. I actually can't go into it fully. There's part of it that plays into a specific task force that not everybody gets to know about in the 8th.
We'll save it for next episode.
cool. If you
Well,
want,
see, that's
feel
the
free
beauty
to
of
look
it.
over
We're not the eighth.
our channel in the Discord. It's under Records and Lore. If you want to like kind of see how we at least do it for character lores, and maybe that can help you with the 8th.
Yeah,
That might have to
feel free
happen.
to look at our ideas.
So what you're saying is you're telling me to cheat and steal stuff.
Hey, you
Well,
should
I mean,
steal,
we don't
so,
even have
you
a
know, Brotherhood
format,
of...
so I mean, this is the official handshake of sharing information. If it'll help you out, then go ahead and take a gander and get some inspiration.
That's fair.
Just make sure you download it with the virus.
I'll be sure to download the Trojan horse and then send it back to Skill as a meme, have him open it, and then I will be in control. And then I will take control of the ABOS.
Mastermind plan.
And then the real coup begins.
The coup is going exactly as planned.
You know, it's funny you bring up stealing Discord server stuff. You wouldn't believe how many people we've caught red-handed with that. It is actually a stupid amount. It's not even really that big. It's like 2 or 3 different instances. But, like, I didn't know that was the thing. Like, that is so goofy to me.
It's
Like,
a
if
lot
I
of
had a
work to
dime for
make
every
it-
time it happened, I wouldn't have a lot of money, but I have a lot more than I should.
Exactly. Like, what the fuck? So
Like-
weird.
Well, it's a lot of work to create a Discord server. It's a legitimate fucking hassle. So, like,
It is.
you can just steal someone else's.
Oh, dude, I shit you not. There's been times, even within recent memory, I've stayed up and worked on the Discord server for upwards of like 12 to 15 hours. Like it's a piece of work.
I've basically built, like, everything I've done to the Discord server has been over my lunch break. But slow little changes over a long period of time. It's been an evolution.
No, dude, Steel Dawn, actually, to bring it back up, Steel Dawn, I had the entire server set up in its infancy in 18 hours, and that was fully functional with each chapter having their own alliance list, blacklist, as well as an individual chat for each of the chapters.
Nice.
It blows my mind.
And that was
Now here's the real question. Do you do it mobile or do you do it on a laptop?
it's all done on my iPhone. Every single bit of it.
I don't understand
And,
how you guys do it mobile. That
I can tell you this, and I will tell you this right now, Volt. I guarantee you I can have a Discord server set up quicker with basic features, basic roles, and basic channels quicker on my phone than you can on your laptop.
I use
Which one
Discord
go?
mobile like all the time, but when it comes to any server stuff I do, I have to use my laptop. I can't stand the fucking mobile like Discord.
I have never used the laptop. I'm
Irritates
curious
me.
though. I don't even know what it looks like.
It's not great.
It's not great. Have you ever used
in my
the
opinion.
Discord version on Xbox though? Like, you want to talk about shit?
That's pretty much what it would be, because I think it's just a browser, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, so that if it's on Xbox, like through the browser, then that's what it would look like on PC or a laptop.
Oh,
Not great, in my opinion.
it doesn't sound fun.
I prefer
Nope.
mobile, but when it comes to any sort of technical, I have to have the laptop.
Yeah,
Dude, I
could
joke
see
you
that
not,
being
the
better.
only thing I've used a laptop for in Discord has, no shit, just been uploading stickers. That's been it.
Were you using stickers that were not approved by Apple?
No, you can't upload stickers via iPhone.
Oh, that sounds like
Yeah,
shit.
Yeah,
It
I don't
does, because of,
understand
iPhones.
why.
Right, Lightning?
You can upload emojis, but you can't do stickers.
That's awful.
Ooh, I
That's
tried to
really
open up
awful.
my Google Doc on my phone just about. It opened up 500 different things. What just what happened?
Did your phone pull a PlayStation 4 and just start going?
Well, it wasn't like somehow opened Spotify. I opened up my Google Play. Like I don't even know what just happened.
I'm starting to question the competence level of your elder here skill.
I question my competence level every
You're
time I
not
boot up my
alone.
Xbox.
Fair enough.
So before we finish up here on this beautiful shindig, because I think we're an hour and 40 in, and it doesn't even feel that long because I've been having so much fun.
Same here. Yep.
Same here.
I mean, we don't have a time frame. We could keep going.
We could keep going.
24-hour stream?
24-hour operation again?
Hell no! I gotta be
Come
awake
on.
at 5:30 in the
Come on,
morning.
you guys gotta get it under your belt. 24-hour operation. I've been there.
24-hour.
It's all right. It's not so bad. Once you round hour 22, it really gets easy.
Yeah. You get your second win.
I open up the floor to the chat. Do you guys have anything that you want to ask or have our opinions on? I'm sure that we have some patent pending ABOS Steel Talk, Elder Grieve approved hot takes for you.
Where did they?
Say Halo Reach sucks.
Shut. Oh.
Halo in general sucks. Changed my mind.
Arcades left the chat.
I've only ever played Infinites all the way through, campaign-wise.
That's. I don't know how I feel about that.
Snark, you gotta realize when Halo was getting released, I was still in middle school. I've only been out of high school for a year now.
I mean, I was 7 when Halo 1 came out.
Dang, you're old.
Shut your
Yeah, you're past 25. That's old.
So I guess that means I got 2 more years before I'm considered old.
Must be nice.
How old is old?
Past 25.
25 apparently by vault standard.
Oh. Okay. Oh. Okay. Fuck you.
Right? That's what I said.
I would go into reasons why, but that's not appropriate for a podcast.
It's because you're afraid of sharks, isn't it?
That's exactly why.
I mean, I don't blame you, man. Sharks are. I once watched a school of sharks drag an entire school bus right off the road, right into the ocean.
Vicious little buggers.
Actually, speak of which, skill. So is this character named Red, or who is Proctor Red?
Proctor Red? He's our
Mm-hmm.
Red Viper. He's our Proctor.
I don't think I've met him yet, but I have to
Probably
congratulate him on one thing. His character and my character have the same name.
Oh, really?
Yes, my character's name is Red. That's what he was always called growing up. She had, like, extremely vibrant red hair. Currently, she's going through her emo phase, as you can see.
The emo.
Yeah. Good
I do
times.
see that.
Those days.
So you listen to a lot of Evanescence? Breaking Benjamin?
Yeah, man. Green Benjamin's pretty good.
I have
You would
pictures
think that.
on my phone from my emo phase, and I'm so glad that I got out of it in like a year's worth of time. Now I'm just a punk, but still.
If you, for those of you who have me added on Facebook, if you dig deep enough into my photos,
seen your, I saw your mohawk.
yeah, that's the closest I ever got to fucking. That's the closest I ever got to an emo phase. It just,
that fucking mohawk.
my truck was just too jacked up.
So, outside perspective, we recently made a Discord server change. What do you think about the emojis we have on the channel, Grieve?
Oh no. Hold on. I'm gonna have to go look now. I'm scared.
What's wrong with our emojis? That
So I'm looking at the emojis.
Yeah, like on the outside of like the channel, like on both ends of them. What do you think? like outside perspective.
Oh, you're talking about like that.
Yeah,
The
like
channel
I thought you were
channels.
talking about
Oh,
like
on the channel. Oh,
server emojis.
No,
Okay.
no.
I don't know. Sometimes whenever you do them, they look good, but other times they can look kind of trashy.
yeah.
Well,
Also,
don't be
look horrible.
Way to go, guys! You ruined it.
I just want honest opinions because we put them there and like we just did it to kind of see how it was. So, I mean, if they look bad, I mean, I'm open to criticism. I don't think any of us are gonna defend silly little
Oh.
emojis.
We did try to highlight certain channels, but I think some of them we got a little carried away with.
Now, I do support putting emojis on like the on the actual categories, but in the channels, just my personal preference. I don't like seeing them on the channels.
Okay.
But like I said, that's more of a personal thing.
Ooh. Off the top of the head question now, since we're getting towards the end of the night here, um, does the 8th have a codex that you guys use?
We do. Let me see how. Is
'Cause
your
that was-
guys' codex viewable?
Yeah, it's
To you, it should be.
under the primary category. You'll see it.
What are you trying to say, Skill?
Not everybody can view it.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant not everybody can read.
We used to have like a big old document, but editing PDFs
Yeah.
is really hard, so we switched it over to a channel. We reworked one and made it our codex. But I was just curious on like, because I understand the idea of a codex is cool, but like in functionality, I didn't know if other groups did that kind of stuff.
I mean, here's the way we have it. So just going through like your all. So like where Skill has posted questions to be asked while recruiting. That's all kept underneath our recruiting section. The basics of operations and patrols, that's under its own section. Promotions under its own section. Uniforms have their own dedicated tab. That way you can go through, you don't have to scroll through everything to be able to find what your uniform is. Duties channel, we still have to set that up. Also, you guys have duties put on there twice.
One for scribes, one for knights.
Okay, yes, I'm seeing that now. Sorry
Oh,
about that.
I was about to viciously scroll through Discord there to find that. Because that's a
But yeah,
huge
no, we
oversight.
have similar stuff, but also for you guys having your timesheet conversion, I'd recommend bringing in TimeBot, which is installed on, and makes stuff so much simpler for converting time.
It's called TimeBot.
I think it's friend
That's the idea.
time.
It is friend time.
Yeah, friend time. So what this is, you go through the simple setup, enter your time zone, do all that, and then it automatically converts it to say, like, say Skill is East Coast and I'm West Coast. If he says 3 p.m., it drops a little emoji underneath the post. I click on that emoji. It translates it from 3 p.m. Pacific to 12 p.m. Eastern.
That's kind of cool.
All in a little
It's an
DM.
interesting idea.
And then going
Yeah.
through the codex, medals have their own category. We do have codex, or we have a codex similar to your all's, but it's all under its own appropriate category. So yeah, there's a lot more channels, but each place has its own spot.
I can understand that.
I just hate adding bots to the server.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I might as well. I bought all the other bots.
Right.
We
How
only
many
got
bots do we have
6
right now?
bots. 6.
Did you take out that one bot yet? The calendar bot?
No.
Fuck that bot.
See, we
But
have...
he's been with us forever.
Actually, I need to kick this bot. We don't use this bot anymore.
There you go. I'm kicking them.
Oh my God, I
No.
was just slaying
The
bots.
eighth,
Wait for people
the
to.
eighth has 6 bots. The eighth has Modus, Friend Time, Me 6, Dino, Unbelievable, and Simple Poll.
The Meeksies is so convenient to have on a server. I never realized how.
Meeksies?
Yeah, Meeksies.
Yeah,
Whatever it's called.
Me 6.
It's Me 6.
Me6.
Yeah, Me 6
This
and
is from,
Dino are
Rick and
2 of
Morty.
the absolute most necessary bots to have.
So
Especially whenever it comes to moderation and stuff.
we got Me 6, Modus, Patchbot, Discord, and Groovy.
Which probably also don't need.
You know what, Snarky? Why do you gotta be like that? You know?
It's an opinion.
You're such a doo-doo.
I'm a. Oh.
Exactly. You are due a do. So I bid you adieu. Dude.
Speaking of bidding adieus, segue time, but a little bit. Any final topics before we wrap up tonight's beautiful podcast? Silence is golden. All right.
Alright,
I
well,
think
since
we
somebody else is
covered a
gonna
lot.
say anything, skill is a bitch. Change my mind.
I can't. I've been trying to come full points for years now, and
I'll change your mind. I'll get that nice dress you like on, and we'll go down by the sunflower fields. And... Can I get a hike, yeah?
Oh. So
Oh.
stupid.
nothing else says the end of the stream other than that.
Well, thank you, Grieve, for taking time out of your evening to do this with us. It was an absolute pleasure to have you on.
It was fun. I'm glad I
Of
had you.
course.
And you
Glad
even
to be
have
here.
now. You're even leaving with a nice, safe ad for Square D circuit breakers.
Please shut the hell up about your damn circuit breakers.
Well, I'm just trying to help, man.
I will make that your name in Steel Dawn. You will just be circuit breaker.
Elder
I mean-
Breaker.
I'm kind of the grounding force, ain't I?
Here we go.
Oh
There
my
goes
Oh,
Lady
I'm
Zika.
ending it.
Go
Good
sit
night,
in the corner.
everybody. Thank you for attending the podcast.